Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about the 5 tips to be able to get you on tour as a photographer. All right, so tip number 1 is reach out, reach out, reach out. I say this because there are so many people trying to get out there on tour as a photographer or videographer. With that being said, you have to be smart about who you reach out to. Artists that you probably want to work with have big followings, and if you try to DM them on Instagram, probably not gonna get a response. The way that I've found to be most successful whenever it comes to getting in contact and getting on tour is find different ways and different points of contact. I say this because you can go and figure out who their manager is. Go on their Facebook, go down to about, and there's probably a list of different management, all of that kind of stuff. And so try to identify who their manager is, try to identify who their record label is, and reach out. More than likely, you won't hear a response from 75% of people, maybe even make that a little bit higher. But what you can count on is somebody responding at some point. Keep in mind, we have to have work to be able to show them. If you're just like, hey, I'd love to shoot for your artist, they're not just gonna bring out somebody who hasn't turned on a camera before, who doesn't have experience. And so with that, try to make sure that you have some sort of resume going into it. It doesn't necessarily have to be music. I've gotten gigs because of my landscape work. Different managers and different artists see stuff and they're like, I like that guy's style, and that's part of it. The second part is, and it's not sexy, it's not fun to say, you need to be able to work for free up front. And yeah, I get it, like everybody's out here, they wanna make money doing what they love, but up front you have to recognize most people aren't gonna be able to hire you on until you show how valuable you can be to them. I've done this with the last 2 artists that I've worked with, Tenpenny and Dylan Scott. Both, I didn't start out walking in making money. I came out and I was just like, hey, you need content and I need an opportunity. Here's what I can do. Let me do it for you for a little bit and then see after a little bit if this is something that you really want. And it's worked. Both times it's worked. I've come out, I've done shows for free, and it's turned into work later on. Don't be afraid to do work for free. Some people are against it, but I think ultimately it's an investment in the future and building a relationship with this client. Point number 3. Be able to do both. There's a lot of people who are headstrong, dead set on wanting to either be a photographer or a videographer, where nowadays, you kind of have to be able to do both. Most artists, unless they're at the top of the game, like the Drakes, the Chainsmokers, whatever you name it, unless they are that big, more than likely they can afford to bring 2 different people out to be able to do the creative content work. A major amount of the artists that are out right now are on one bus. They're the artists, they have the band, they have the crew. If you can condense yourself being a photographer and a videographer, 1, you provide so much more value, and 2, you take up 1 bunk. It gets kind of cramped on the bus. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of personalities, and if you can only take up 1 bunk out of the 12 that are available, then you are that much more valuable to the artist. Yes, you might have a passion that's a little bit bigger than another. Maybe you're really into photography and you haven't really picked up videography much, or vice versa. But ultimately, you can have your one thing that you're super good at, but you need to be able to offer both. If you can do that, you bring so much more the value than somebody who's headstrong and is just like, no, I'm just gonna be your photographer. So that leads into point 4. Get creative. And I get it, like this is a creative job, but there's so many people out there, so many photographers that fall into the exact same line as everybody else. There's this trend to do this. Maybe it's dark and moody, maybe it's light and airy, maybe it's a film look, whatever it is. You have to be able to identify for yourself what is your look gonna be. And it's probably going to look like some other person somewhere, but you have to identify what it is for you. The different aesthetic for me has been bringing my grandparents' VHS camera on tour. I was able to do stuff for Dylan Scott with it. I was able to do stuff with Tenpenny for it, and they like it because not many people are doing that. Not many people are necessarily bringing out grandma's VHS. Like, yes, you can do filters and all this different stuff, but it's a cool aesthetic to be able to actually bring that out. So that's my thing, and I don't know what yours is. Maybe it's a certain editing style. Maybe it's the way that you actually shoot on film. Maybe you shoot on digital. Maybe you shoot on iPhone. I don't know. But you need to figure out what your thing is and show that you really stick out past the rest. That's a big deal. I shot another show in Nashville about 2 months ago for an EDM act. And when I was there, I got to meet their manager. He just so happened to fly in from LA to see this specific show in Nashville. I was talking to him, and he's managed other big EDM acts, one being Avicii, and so I would assume most of y'all heard of him too. He gave me really good advice and said, most photographers out there will get that one shot that you can post everywhere, maybe like every 10 shows or something like that, but that's not something that you can count on day in and day out. Because he's talked in the past of different videographers and photographers that he's hired on and given different opportunities to. He said they had something to bring to the table that others didn't. And so get creative and be able to do both. Number 5, this is a little evident, but it just has to be reinforced. Work harder. You have to work harder. You have to work harder. Work harder than who? The artists themselves, the band members, the tour manager. You are fighting for a spot with 1,000 other people trying to figure it out too. This artist that you want to shoot for has worked their entire life to be on stage. If they're running around, they're doing stuff, they're playing guitar, whatever they're doing, they are sweating. They were working hard and working the audience. There is no reason that you shouldn't be doing the exact same too. You need to be running around, making sure that you get the shots that you need to get. You need to be focused and you need to be doing your job at the highest level that you possibly can. The show ends, you go to the bus, you sit on the bus and you edit. These people might be drinking, they might be hanging out, they might be eating post-show pizza, whatever it is. You need to be working. You want to show them, hey, I'm here, I'm doing it, I care about this, and I want you all to have the value and fast. If you can get the artist pictures before they get in their bunk at night, they could be laying down at night scrolling through the pictures that you sent them and they found one and like, oh shoot, oh shoot. That's awesome. They posted on their story, they posted on their IG wall, they posted on Facebook, whatever. The fans are able to get what they want fast, and that is a big deal in this industry. And so, work harder than him, work harder than her, work harder than them, whoever it is, put in the effort. All right, last thing. I know I said 5, but this one's kind of a caveat and just something that you just need to be. Be a good person. I would say 50% of what you need to be on tour is all the things that I listed. That's who you are as a videographer. But when you're on tour, 50% of you getting a job is you being personable. You're able to just respect the artist, see them as a person rather than this person who you've looked up to for so long. That's going to get you long-term business with a client, or be able to get there and be like, you know what? This guy Tristan was a really good hang and he's good at what he does. You should have him on. If you get an opportunity, you've already knocked out, okay, they think you're good enough to come out. But now I think the question really is he somebody I want to spend time with? You spend 3 to 4 days a week with this artist, or if you're in pop, every day for like 3 months, and you have to be able to be friends. So that's it. That's the 5, kind of 6 tips that I would give to you all to be able to get on tour. Just try to implement them. None of them are gonna work out perfectly, and you have to do all this with patience. You're never gonna get the job right off the bat. You have to be diligent. You have to keep working consistently. If you don't love it, you're not gonna make it. It's hard. You have to be away from family. You have to be away from friends. And yes, it's fun. You get cool stuff sometimes, but there's a lot of time where you just miss home. You have to work your tail off on the road. It's not a vacation. All that said, be patient and you have to love it. Sweet, so that's it. That's all I got. I would have loved to heard this about 2 years ago whenever I started. And so hopefully you guys are able to pick something out of that yourself to be able to encourage you. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Peace.